Welcome to Building Fortunes Radio. Make sure you check us out at buildingfortunesradio.com. Along with KISK, our Keep It Simple Circle marketing partners, we are here to help our Humongous AM and Humongous FM radio customers build their businesses and make the world a better place. At Building Fortunes Radio, we know how much your business means to you and the people important to you. So join us to make the world a better place. Spread the word, tell a friend, and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingils. Take it away, Peter.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingils here. You are listening to us on the Building Fortunes Radio Network, but it's the Patrick Seaton Radio Show. It's Innovative Management Tools, IMT. So on Innovative Management Tools, I know it's digital tools. So we're here on Thursday nights, 11 p.m.-ish, if you will, Eastern. I think it's 9 p.m. so far over on the mountainside where Patrick is. And I'm over here in Florida, and Patrick's over down there in Mexico. And we do this radio show as a result of I always like to tell a little bit about the beginning of the relationship. Is I was doing a speed networking event with Manny Lopez. Manny's a good guy, does a lot of business development sort of stuff, and he does these speed networking events that I'm a big fan of. But he also is a gentleman who's doing some cool stuff with women, and his wife has got a great program, so shout out to Manny with the stuff he's doing for women development. And he also does some stuff with foster kids as they exit out of the foster care system, and that's another whole radio show. But Patrick was on one of the first speed networking events that Manny was doing, and he kind of talked about his innovative management tools platform and the concept. And as I was listening to Patrick, I was really impressed, not that he needs to impress anybody, but I was impressed and in agreement with like everything that he was saying. He might use different words to label the things that I grew up with, but I mean the stuff that he was talking about made 100% sense in what happens in the world that I live in, and it was really great information. And then when he said that he took a lot of his business experience and put it into digital tools, I said, wow, that's really cool. So we need to make sure that our Building Fortunes Radio listening audience knows about it. So we started doing these radio shows, and it's a popular radio show. We've been doing this ever since. And I'm going to give you his LinkedIn in the show notes, and he'll give you some other ways of getting in contact with him as well. And sometimes he runs a little promotion and might say, hey, if you do this, I'll give you this free report or whatever. So stay on for the whole radio show as he starts to do that, maybe towards the end. But today he's got a very interesting topic. I'm super interested in hearing about this because it's a lot about time management and wasting or not wasting resources. So I'm all in on that. And I really enjoy these radio shows because Patrick is a good guy. Give him your business. And if you go to the descriptions here, we link some stuff to his books. He's got a couple of cool books with some cool titles. He's got AskAlex.coach for his AI assistant and his sales trainer, which Donna Baker just loves. And he's got a whole bunch of other cool stuff that you can learn from to help make your business a better place to work. So, Patrick, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Peter. It's always a pleasure to be here. And just as a foreshadowing, next week, Donna will be back to join us. So, but tonight, it's just you and me, my friend.
There we go. We can do this. We can do this. So tonight I wanted to talk about this is kind of in the category of leadership. And it's something that I've heard about, and everyone in the companies I've worked at everyone's talked about it for literally decades. And it's all about meetings. And so I've titled this show, Why Your Team Meeting Could Have Been an Email. And we've all been in team meetings before, department meetings, project meetings, whatever you are, but it's the team of people. And, very often, we are just, depending on the person and their role, there are so many people in companies that are just drowning in meetings.
And it didn't change even when we went to the pandemic and remote. We're just on Zoom or Teams or Meet just constantly. And so I'd like to talk about some things that might help you understand that, or think about when you should have a different approach to your team meetings. Because really, I think that unnecessary meetings, they're a symptom of organizational dysfunction. And because certain things are not in place and there are so many meetings that have to take place. So I've got 4 things, and then I want to challenge people, the listeners, with something. So the first sign is just kind of what I said, the meeting epidemic. And I was looking up some stats for this, and I was amazed that, and then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, thinking back on my corporate days, it was like that. But the average professional spends 35% of their work week in meetings. 35%. And for managers, it's almost 50%. I mean, that's half of a work week spent talking about work instead of doing work. And the research that's been out there about meetings says that perhaps 70% of meetings are unnecessary, poorly run, or could have been handled with an email or a 5-minute conversation. But instead, we do the meeting, we book the room, we block people's time, and it's I think about some of the even the networking calls I'm in now these days, and when we finish, it's very rare and almost refreshing when people say, well, you know what, we're done. I'll give you your 20 minutes that is left that you agreed to be here, so go off and do something and take advantage of it. But we just have people have too many meetings. So, and what does that do? That means that the work they have to get done actually needs to get squeezed into little moments, or they take it home, or they stay late, or they do something, and that leads to burnout, which can lead to them getting just pushed out the door on their own, and because they can't sustain all of that. So too many meetings has a lot of impact. I'll even throw in there, if the manager's in meetings all the time, how many of the individual contributors say, I don't have access to my manager. I can't work because I can't talk to them and get an answer I need because they're always in meetings. So there are lots of ways that people manifest or say that this is a problem, and that's something that we should all look at. The second way that you probably could just have an email is if you fall into what I'll call the status update trap. Those are those meetings where you sit around and says, okay, let's go around the room and give updates. Well, that's not a meeting. It's a reading of reports that could have been shared in writing and sent previously. Status updates are information transfer. They're not collaboration. And meetings, we should try to reserve meetings for decisions, brainstorming, collaboration, problem solving, any activities that genuinely require real-time interaction. So if you have those meetings that are just, let's get an update, maybe you don't need as many. Maybe you need to find a different way to share that and put the expectation that people will get the updates and read them, and then the meeting, if you have to have it, is actually to talk about other things that are more valuable. So that kind of links into the third one, which is the decision deficit, I'll call it. So if you think about how many of your meetings end with a clear decision, most meetings end with, let's schedule a follow-up meeting. So if you leave a meeting without having decided something, or advanced something, or solved something, in essence, the meeting failed. Every meeting should have a clear purpose, and that purpose should be accomplished before the people leave. Now, there's the fourth one, which as I was thinking about it, it was really interesting. And I'll call it the meeting culture signal. So an organization's meeting culture reveals its decision-making culture. So if you have too many meetings, then that means that decision authority isn't clear. It could be. I mean, I can't say that for every case, but it might be that the decision authority isn't clear. If we need a meeting to come make a decision, maybe the culture is not clear enough as to why someone can't make the decision. If you are meeting heavy but decision light, then could that mean that people are avoiding accountability? If people are in back-to-back meetings and then there's no time for actually getting the work done, that's a problem. So the way you meet or have meetings is actually a mirror of how companies operate. And maybe you need to think about the decision-making culture and why is everyone in the room all the time. I just thought of another one that I did not have on my list before going into tonight, and I'm going to throw it in there, and that is, if you look at certain employees who are always tapped for projects from left, right, center, and they are pulled into those meetings, just endless meetings, that it's great to have those people who can help in so many ways. However, when are they supposed to get their work done? Like their real job. Now, I'm not saying that meetings aren't leading to their job, but I've seen a lot of people who were, they were just the best, and they knew they were so reliable that everybody, whoever could, tried to grab them for the team. And that created lots of friction because everyone was saying, my time is the priority, and the next person, no, this is the priority, and this is the priority. And so they're in these meetings, and everything is a priority, but they don't have time to get it done. So I would ask you to be very careful of those really star performers that are being stretched way too thin. So I said that I wanted to kind of challenge everybody. I would, and it sounds very basic, honestly, but we keep doing it decade after decade after decade. But I would challenge you to challenge every recurring meeting on your calendar. For each one, ask, what decision does this meeting make? Could this be an email or a document? Who actually needs to be there? What happens if we cancel it? You might find that half of those recurring meetings can be eliminated, shortened, restructured, spaced out, not as frequently. And I have been in those meetings, and if someone were to do that, I probably would go up and thank them for not making it so regular and not as productive or useful, and have restructured it to, I'd rather spend 5 minutes making my update, send it out into a document, a shared document. Everyone can read it, put my questions, and when we get to the meeting, we don't have to spend 25, 30 minutes of people just going around the table saying what they could write in a little short paragraph. So, so those are the things I want to talk about with for why your team meeting could be an email. And so, Peter, what do you think about that?
I'm here. Sorry, I turned on my other microphone. Yikes. I am someone that witnessed how meetings could actually destroy profits and profitability in a company. So as a quick note, I used to work with Electrolux, the vacuum cleaner company, and I could literally watch a whole entire week be destroyed by an ill-timed meeting. Somebody would say, we're going to have a conference call at 1 p.m. And what would happen? My managers would never leave the office because they had a meeting at 1 o'clock. Or like you freeze the whole group. Everybody's frozen. Because at 1 o'clock, then everybody's got to wait until after 1 o'clock to hear what was disseminated at one level, then it's got to go to another level. And literally, Monday could be wasted just because you ran a meeting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and you'd say, wait a minute, Monday sets the tone of the whole week. And you're like, exactly. Like, why the hell do you friggin' people run a meeting at 1 o'clock on a Monday? Like, you have no clue. Like, you're killing my sales force. So I am super sensitive to how meetings, and we didn't have email when I was doing my stuff because I'm old. So I was doing this before. We had fax machines. But conference calls could be done by meetings, physical meetings, all that sort of stuff. So meetings are probably one of the biggest self-inflicted things, period. So I'm really on top of this conversation with a vengeance because I could see how costly and a poorly timed meeting would be. So I don't know if that was the right answer, but there we go.
No, that's fine. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. And I think I can one-up you on the fax machine. When I started my career in international...
Oh, don't tell me stone tablets. You had stone tablets? You actually...
No, we didn't have stone tablets, but we were... a lot of the countries, we were still using telex machines.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was pretty cool when we went to fax machines in certain countries, but it was with the onion paper that turned black after so long. So once it came out, you had to then do that. And then it went to the real paper as like, oh my gosh, this is like so advanced. So I think I got you beat on that one.
You do. Yep.
I do. I'm not as bad as the stone tablets, but yeah. And I remember there were probably 30 salespeople in the first company I worked at, and we had one little computer to look up things on the internet for all 40. Boy, those were the days.
Those were the days. Yeah.
Those were the days. Okay, so yeah, we get hit with, we self-inflict. I like that term that you use. We self-inflict meetings, and very often, if I'm in back-to-back meetings, there might be a whole lot of things that end up on my laundry list of things to do, and now I've got the struggle to how am I going to get them done because I'm leaving this meeting to go to that meeting, and we need to find ways to simplify and make things more efficient and effective and productive. And that's the segue into the second half that I would like to talk about. For those who don't know the show, we have two halves, and the second half I always talk about a conversation framework. And today I want to talk about the framework overview. And it is about getting not more, but better information that is actually actionable. So another thing that we do at the show is we always, because it's radio would not be radio without music. And so I have, and I've given Peter two songs. We'll start one in just a second. But this song is talking about overview, which is a high-level SWOT analysis. And after that, I'll explain what overview is, and we'll close the show with the second song. So, Peter.
Excellent. And you might want to explain SWOT analysis to those people that might not be familiar with that term.
Yeah. So SWOT analysis is an activity that you do within a company that you look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And it's ideally you get different perspectives, and that kind of becomes your roadmap. Well, it should, theoretically, be your roadmap of what are we going to do to where we're strong, what weaknesses do we need to shore up, what opportunities are out there that maybe we decide strategically we want to take advantage of, and then what are the threats that we can see, and are we prepared for them if they were to happen. So SWOT analyses they're very powerful, but after the song I'll explain why most companies don't do them and what can make them very ineffective.
Perfect. So here we go. Song number one.
Okay.
Company needs a better vision, baby. We're lost without a SWOT, let's just admit. We've got our strengths, but what's the cost of avoiding? We're sitting in crowded rooms talking, maybe. An older view in 90 might say to us now, focusing on actions that matter somehow. And the board says, you see away clear. But drifting without insight, it feels like dying. We need a frontier. We've done this before, but it's funny how those papers pile up and annoy. The details drown the point that we're facing. We could make it short and sweet if we tried, and validate what's within our sight. Focused and sharp, no more wasted lines. And the board says, you see away clear. But drifting without insight, it feels like dying. We need a frontier. In 19 minutes we could find our way. Strengths, weaknesses, see new days, opportunities. Now we'll say find the threats and clear the haze. And the board says, you see away clear. But drifting without insight, it feels like dying. We need a frontier.
Cool song.
All right, so overview. So for those who don't know, conversation frameworks are digital collaboration tools on Miro boards that bring together small groups, and everyone participates, puts things on the board, it kind of builds a picture, and you then take that information and analyze it, and what are we going to do with this, and how can we create action plans when we walk out of here. So in the Innovative Management Tools suite, there are 28 different conversation frameworks, overview being one of them, and they all are on problem solving. So you say, well, what's the problem solving with the SWOT analysis? Well, the SWOT analysis historically for many companies it feels more like an obligation. Oh, we better do our SWOT analysis. It's been a couple of years. We should sit down. But everyone rolls their eyes and says, oh my gosh, this is wasted time. So this is a meeting that usually runs a day for most people, the senior management, and they really don't get a lot out of it. And why is that? Because the traditional SWOT analysis suggests that for each of the letters, the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, you come up with you brainstorm as many things as you can. And so where is our company strong? Where do we have weaknesses? Where do we have opportunities? And where are the threats hanging out there? Which is great, except that what I've seen in SWOT analyses is that one of the letters that you have 182 things, down to, and it's the traditional SWOT says everything is welcome. Well, so you might get things like, our receptionist has a really nice smile. Well, she's the receptionist. No one sees the smile. Might change her tone of her voice, but that's really not a strength of the company. And the other challenge that people have with it is somebody then writes up all these laundry lists of things, and they go into somebody's computer, and then there really is no action taken on them. And that causes, why did we do this? So the backstory on overview is that I was asked by an association president. They were having a board meeting coming up in a couple months, and he said, would you facilitate a SWOT analysis? It's been a couple years for us. And I said, sure. And I had never facilitated one, and I said, okay, well, this is going to be new territory for me on the facilitating side. He said, yeah, it'd be really great. Now, there is one caveat. You have to get it all done in 90 minutes, when traditionally SWOT analyses go for 4, 5, 6 hours. And I said, no problem. And then when I left him, I said, what the heck am I going to do? So I came up with overview. And the idea is pretty simple. Whatever the group is, you break them into little pods, and each group has they need to come up with 4 strengths, 4 weaknesses, 4 opportunities, and 4 threats. No more. So they have to debate and discuss and prioritize. And the other thing is, they only have a certain amount of time to do it. So they have to stay very focused, get it done, and afterwards, all of the ideas take out the duplicates, but you end up with lists that are far more focused, and they have a lot more priority because the people have gone through some of that. Is this really that important to put on here? Now, the other thing that goes into overview that I think is very original is that it's just not the item. In their in a strength, they can say, well, here's the strength that we feel like we have as a company. Okay, great. Everyone in that pod, they agree with it. But then they also have to answer, they have to decide, where does that strength fit on the leverage meter? And this is a card that they have to talk about. So are they leveraging that strength to the maximum, some, little, or there's no evidence? They really don't know how the company's leveraging the strength. And they might have, from different perceptions or perspectives, someone would say, oh, we're leveraging this to the max. No, we're doing very little with it. And that creates better discussion. And then for the weaknesses, there's another meter card. For the advantage, there's another. For the opportunity, there's another card, or a meter. And then for the threats, there's another meter card. And so it becomes a very focused way to get the most important ideas out. And because the list is so much shorter, and the time that's required for this, you could actually do multiple sessions with different groups and just keep adding to the lists if you wanted to, or to get different perspectives from different altitudes of the company. But because it is a short activity, you actually don't need to wait 2 years before you decide to go do an offsite for a day and kill productivity. You could actually run this every 6 months and just say, where are we at? Things have been changing. Let's take another pulse. And you don't just have to have the senior management in this, because I know for a fact that a lot of the other altitudes of the company, they can tell you what the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are, because they're doing the day-to-day work, and they will have very interesting information to share with senior management. But usually, those other altitudes don't get invited to the table for a SWOT analysis. So I call overview a high-level SWOT activity. And if anybody would like to learn more about it, see what it does, the way that I do conversation frameworks is I don't want you to pay me as a consultant. This is something that an internal facilitator can be trained on, and they can use it across the company. You could do a SWOT analysis for departments, for the company. There are many ways you could leverage it. But I train internal facilitators on how to run the sessions. And once they're trained, the company has unlimited lifetime use of the tool. And you can pull it out whenever you need it, as often as you need it. And you have someone trained on how to facilitate it. And just you might go, wow, that must be really expensive because it's a lifetime use. Well, I don't think so. It's 2 hours of training for the facilitator or a group of facilitators on a framework, and that 2 hours is $960. And you get a lifetime tool that can help with this pulse, high-level SWOT activity. So that is overview. If you are interested, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Say, hey, I heard the show. Overview, I'd like to learn more. Show me really what it is. I want to get some people trained, and because I think we could use this and change our way. Because a lot of companies, they've never done a SWOT analysis. They don't know how to start, and they've heard the horror stories of it, as opposed to how that can be used in a very productive way. So the link from the first part of the show to this part of the show is all those recurring meetings. They are wasting time. A traditional SWOT analysis if you are using up your senior management for a day on an off-site or whatever it is, all to collect stuff that maybe you're only going to, you got 182 things and you're only going to do 5. Why'd you collect the other 177 today? Why not get the top 4 or 5 that you need right now and work on those and come back and continuous improvement? What are the next things we want to do? From the strengths, from the weaknesses, from the opportunities, and the threats. So that is overview, Peter. Thoughts on that as a tool and activity?
Oh, good stuff. So I know, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? Is it through LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the easiest way. And just send me a DM, a direct message, connect with me. I have my website and all that, but the email itself is long, but it's easier just through LinkedIn.
Perfect. Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So do you want to talk about the next song?
Yeah, well, it's also about SWOT analyses and overview. So it's just a wrap-up of the second half.
Excellent. So here we go.
We gathered round the table, had a strategy to set. It's time to work in depth, not waste a single breath. Analyzing strengths and weaknesses we did vet, to find the opportunities and threats we often forget. We took a step and listed our ambitions, not as long as it used to be before. In just an hour, we made our decision to focus efforts and grow a whole lot more. No more endless sessions that just drain the time away. We need a streamlined process to reflect on every day, bringing focused action in a short, precise display, getting quicker insights and be ready any day. We took a step and listed our ambitions, not as long as it used to be before. In just an hour, we made our decision to focus efforts to grow a whole lot more. Strengths and weaknesses, we see them now. Opportunities, threats clear to behold. A 90-minute overview, a fresh bout, a strategy that's sharp and bold. Took a step and listed our ambitions, not as long as it used to be before. In just an hour, we made our decision to focus efforts and grow a whole lot more.
I have no idea where you get those songs from, but they are pretty cool.
Well, I'll share with you and the listeners. It is a really cool program called Udio, U-D-I-O, and it has hundreds of genres of music, and you can either put lyrics in and say, I want these exact lyrics to this style, or you can just, what I did is I put in some keywords and ideas and thoughts, and you just randomly string some things and say, okay, now here's the genre, make a song, and I want it to be this long or that long, and you can add to it, you can move things around. It's really fun as a program, and there's no way, I mean, I love music, but I couldn't write these songs. no way. So it's a really fun program.
Excellent. Cool. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to wrap up today's radio show. So Patrick, thanks as usual for a great radio show, talking about the efficiency in meetings and inefficiency in meetings and all that sort of stuff. Plus, thanks for the opportunity to be able to get that the custom frameworks overview. So good stuff. Yeah. So for those people that are here and listening in, we're on the 4th of July weekend here in the United States. So 250 years, they say, of relative freedom. By comparison, I think it's a pretty good shot. And hopefully everybody has a safe and a great weekend. And if you're working like we are, thank goodness you have the opportunity to go to work. Yep. So we'll be back next week, and we might have Donna Baker here. Donna's with one N, D-O-N-A, and then Baker. She runs a company called Realize. She's over in Canada, and she's always really good. That Patrick and her really do a great job with collaborating an excellent radio show together. So Patrick, thanks for being here. I'll let you wrap it up.
Thank you, Peter, and to everyone, go challenge the recurring meetings. Your employees will thank you, and on the opposite side, if you are going to do a SWOT analysis and what's been holding you back is just it eats up too much time, then let's talk, because there's a faster way to do it that is more effective, and people will thank you for that as well.
Excellent. So we'll see everybody next time. Thanks, everyone.
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Building Fortunes Radio is part of the Humongous AM and Humongous FM radio network. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website to listen to your favorite shows. You can also hear us on Humongous Radio and wherever you find your favorite podcasts. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for.